Hello, and welcome to another power-packed Phillips podcast. If you guys would, please take out your spiral that you do your notes in, and we're going to do lesson 1.6, part 2. You need your spiral that you take your notes in, lesson 1.6, part 2. All right, quick review from yesterday. This is lesson 1.6, part 2, functions, rules, tables. Quick review from yesterday, we said that the X is your domain. King Xavier ruled over a very large domain. Xavier ruled over a large domain, X. We also said yesterday that the Y is known as the range or the output. Y, yak. Yak like to graze on the range. If you would, please add these two vocabulary words to your spiral. Independent variable and dependent variable. Please add those to your spiral. The independent variable is the X, or you can impress me with your math knowledge and say X is known as the domain. Very good. The dependent variable is the Y, or the range. Your answer is going to depend on what number you put in. Your answer is going to depend on what number or numbers you put in. All right, so let's make a function table. I'm going to ask that you copy down that input, output, or function table in your spiral. The domain, or X, is going to go on top. The Y, or the range, is going to go on the bottom. Notice my numbers for my domain are 0, 2, 5, 7, and 8. Where did I get those from? Well, I certainly didn't make them up because I'm not that smart. Right here, the domain of the function is 0, 2, 5, 7, and 8. So they're telling me my X values are 0, 2, 5, 7, and 8. 0, 2, 5, 7, and 8. That's where that came from. We might want to get in the habit of writing domain over here by the X and range over here by the Y. All right, so my function, my equation is y equals 2x. Well, I know in math that when the number is touching the letter or variable, nice vocab, bears, that means multiplication. So why don't you put a dot for multiplication? Now, I'm going to substitute, or I'm going to plug and chug. Plug and chug. So I'm going to take out the letter X, and I'm going to put in 0. 2 times 0 gives me 0. Change colors. Now I'm going to take this blue 0, and I'm going to put it in this box right here. Next, I'm going to substitute. I'm going to plug and chug 2 in for the letter X. So take out the X, substitute, put in the number 2. 2 times 2 is going to give me 4. So I'm going to take that 4, and I'm going to plug it in the range right here. Again, I will substitute 5 for the letter X. So take out the X, put in a 5. 2 times 5 gives me 10. Hopefully now you're getting the hang of this. So I'm going to pause this, excuse me. You go ahead and finish the rest of the range, the rest of the table. Now that you've finished completing the table or the range, you should have that 7 times 2. 2 times 7 is 14, and 2 times 8 is 16. So I've made a table. The last thing it asks me to do is to identify the range. Well, that's easy. My range are the values for the y. The yak grays out on the range. So on your paper, if you would, please write down that the range is 0, 4, 10, 14, and 16. Your range are the numbers for y. Alrighty guys, one more problem. If you would, please copy down that input-output table, function table. You can put input or x here, you can put output or y here. Your domain should be 0, 1, 4, 6, 10. Your range should be 2, 3, 6, 8, 12. So if you copy that, make sure you have it on your paper. Alright, so I'm asked to write the rule for this function table. Well, it should be pretty easy to see. 0 plus 2 gives me 2. 1 plus 2 gives me 3. 4 plus 2 gives me 6. And if I check the rule the rest of the way, if I add 2 each time, it works. So if I take x and add 2 to the number, so down here I'm going to write x plus 2. Each time I add 2 to x, I get y. Every time I add 2 to x, I get y. So one way you can write this answer would be x plus 2 gives me the answer for y each time. Or they could switch it around on you and put the y first and say to get y, you add 2 to the x. Both answers are correct. Both answers mean the same thing. Usually this is the way you're going to see it with the y first. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up another power-packed Phillips podcast. Remember, you can always catch another copy of this in Blackboard or YouTube. And I know that there's 2 more of you out there somewhere that have a YouTube account. And if 2 more of you subscribe, I can get that up to 10. Woohoo! So come on, 2 more people subscribe. See ya.